The streets of London are empty after dawn. Amidst the mist and shadows, an unknown man runs breathlessly through the fog. The man stumbles through the uneven streets. His clothes, already heavy from the rain and mud, seem to drag him down. But he didn't stop, because he knew he wasn't alone. He runs towards an old house in a random neighborhood. His hands tremble, but he unlocks the door, only to cross it and lock it again. He moves away from the door slowly, and with his eyes fixed on it, almost breathing in relief before seeing a huge unknown body emerge, blocking the moon's rays that passed through the gap below the door. He froze, not shaking, screaming or breathing. He just existed motionless, while praying to God that it wouldn't notice him. Panic set in again, and the hairs on the back of his neck stood on end when he heard the heavy breathing on the other side of the door. He held himself back, stifling a scream with his hands, but his legs, already trembling, betrayed him when he heard the scratching on the door. He fell on the floor, in front of the shadow and alone in the house. That sound seemed to echo through the shadows, deafening. However, as frightening as the sounds of presence, silence came. In an instant, as if he were swallowed by the air. There was no more breathing, shadow or noise. He could hear the rain, the wind and the neighbors around him again. He had forgotten how close they were. He took a deep breath, stood up and with all his courage walked towards the door. Without realizing it, his breathing became heavy. He trembled again in fear of what he might see. But he froze again when, looking through the peephole, he saw only a vast and deep red. He did not understand. He was astonished and scared, but he felt his heart sink when that figure moved away. I dare not describe such monstrosity here. That being, human, animal, creature, monster was not something to be seen by just anyone. Therefore, I'll only say that its twisted figure displayed inflamed red eyes, and its half-open mouth dripped saliva, making it clear that it was hungry. The creature made guttural sounds, turned the doorknob and pounded on the door. The man finally screamed. He ran to the kitchen and grabbed a knife. The moment he grabbed it, he heard the glass shatter. He was alone, armed only with a bread knife that he could barely hold with his trembling hands. And now, he knew, it was inside. He took a few steps. Gathering courage, he walked a few meters and saw the shards scattered on the floor. The window was broken dot, and now, what to do? Was the monster inside, or was it a trap to make it come out? What did it intend to do with it? If he screamed, would the neighbors hear him? His head was boiling with doubts, but, holding on to the last bit of rationality he had left, he decided to try to hide. The man took hesitant steps up the stairs towards his room. The stairs creaked, and now the cold, damp wind was spreading through the house. Finally, a few steps from his room, he heard a noise downstairs. He lowered his knife and ran quickly, locking the door to the room. He stepped away, taking in the air. The closed environment left him less exposed, but he still feared the sounds that were going on downstairs. And once again, almost stopping his heart, the sounds disappeared. Is it gone? Where is it? He pressed his ear to the door, but only his breathing could be heard. Long seconds of silence followed. His concentration was so great that nothing else was noticed. He could no longer hear the rain, the wind, or the neighbors. He remained immersed until a loud thunder ripped through the sky. He was startled by the sound, but when he looked out the window he could not contain himself. He urinated when he saw that monstrous and distorted being, half of its body already inside his room. The man lost his strength. The knife slipped between his fingers,